Group. Allowing is a state of consciousness. Dear readers, it has become an intense and frightening time for many, as they witness much of the ordinary and familiar fall away, with seemingly nothing new or better to replace it. It is a time for allowing the ascension process to unfold without the interference of finite human plotting, planning, and thinking, because the human mind, regardless of how intelligent, is simply not equipped to fully grasp that which is infinite. Allowing is not doing nothing. It is not standing firmly in religious doctrine or tradition saying, just give it to God or let God do it, expecting a three-dimensional concept of God to jump in and magically save the day and make everything right again by bringing back the good old days. Allowing is standing confidently in conscious awareness of God/source/divine consciousness, being the only law, cause, effect, reality, and power, in spite of what may be going on in the outer scene. Allowing means ignoring the three-dimensional monkey mind that constantly whispers that you must, to do this or that, fix this or that, say this prayer, light a candle, etc., etc., and do it all in a certain way or bad things will happen. Remember, the human mind draws information from what is already known in the collective, rather than from within. Allowing is a state of consciousness at rest, in the realization that God's creations are, always have been, and can only ever be perfect and whole whether the material world looks that way or not. If you are reading these messages, you are prepared to at least practice living from this level. You knew about these times before incarnating and have been preparing in previous lifetimes in order to be ready when the call came. The call has come. Evolution takes place over the course of many lifetimes. In the beginning, awareness is focused primarily on a personal sense of self, a self that believes it is separate and needs protection from other life forms. Gradually, the belief in some sort of higher power comes, which at first is a belief in many gods, one for abundance, one for fertility, one for health, etc., etc. Eventually, this is replaced by the belief of one God, rather many. But this one God, even to this day, is a glorified human, a man in the sky who punishes and rewards according to current personal, religious, societal rules. This man-God remains alive and well for many, but at a certain point of readiness, most evolve to some form of metaphysics. Metaphysics is the study of energy and solutions beyond the material, crystals, oils, ceremony, tablework, etc., and utilizes them to heal, change, or fix things, which often does work and reflects a higher level of awareness, but remains in ideas of separation. Eventually, every seeker is ready for the real and most powerful level of awareness: mysticism. Mysticism is a state of consciousness that realizes nothing needs to be healed, fixed, or changed, because the creative expressions of the one omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient God are already perfect, complete, and whole. Resting in this awareness is allowing. Continuing to fight, resist, hope for, or desire three-dimensional concepts endows them with power and keeps them alive in the collective. The more you fixate on appearances in the belief that in and of themselves they possess power, especially during these times of intense energy, the more you feed the material concept. Divine consciousness remains the creative substance of form, whether it has become individually conditioned with error and falsehood or not. Good appearances are just as illusory as the bad ones. Both are material manifestations of personal and global states of consciousness filled with beliefs of duality, separation, and many powers. God is the only power. There are no other powers. How could an omnipresent God create anything unlike itself? What would it be made of? Nothing seen, heard, tasted, touched, or smelled has power in and of itself, in spite of what appearances may testify to. Everything believed to be a power, evil, disease, sin, war, lack, etc., etc., is only maintained and sustained by the energy it receives through being accepted as reality and consciousness. The consciousness of Master Jesus and other evolved masters held no belief of powers other than the one divine power. When people sought help from these masters, they automatically entered into alignment with a pure state of consciousness, free of duality, separation, and many powers. Problems automatically dissolved, and healings took place simply because there was nothing to hold the illusions in place. These masters recognized and acknowledged the true nature of everyone who came to them, which is unconditional love. On earth, love is usually thought of as an emotion, and it can be, but that is just one expression of love. The belief that love is always an emotion often causes confusion when a spiritual seeker is told that they must love everyone, including those who are happily creating havoc, suffering, and problems for others. As we have said many times, love is the connecting energy flowing in, through, around, and between every individualized expression of the one divine consciousness, God. It is an energy, it is life, it is consciousness, it is omnipresent, and it is God. Your recognition of the divine nature of every individual, regardless of appearances to the contrary, is unconditional love and automatically shifts you into another facet of love: impersonalization. Impersonalization means no longer pinning sin, blame, error, or limitation in any form on another, in the belief that it is personally theirs. Impersonalization recognizes that because every person is God individualized, the only qualities they have or ever can have are God qualities, and negative qualities of any sort can only reflect hypnotism, the collective belief in separation from God, acting in, as, and though the individual's state of consciousness, much like an image being superimposed over another. You are entitled to your preferences. Loving and impersonalizing does not mean you must emotionally embrace or wholeheartedly accept the actions of every person. Tools for evolving are available at all levels of awareness. Those who, as of yet, are only able to learn and understand from a three-dimensional level may need jail or some other form of guided learning. Impersonalization means that in spite of any and all appearances, you first and foremost silently acknowledge a person's true nature as divine being, before taking whatever human footsteps may be necessary. Ways of living that were sufficient and workable even 1 year ago are no longer working as they once did, because Earth's energy has and continues to rapidly change. Do not panic about what you see taking place around you at this time, but rather rejoice because the energies that created a world of duality and separation are being replaced by energies that are higher and more real. Much of what you see taking place at this time will not be permanent, but rather is serving to awaken a majority out of their comfortable status quo. Why would anyone want to continue living in or promoting a world of the past governed by duality, separation, and many powers unless it stands to benefit them in some way? Allow reality to live in, as and through you, while lovingly and without regret, let go of everything you once believed you had to have, but no longer feel alignment with. Let your only prayer be, everything I have been seeking, allow. We are the Arcturian group.